songs from 70 years ago.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man.
Remember when this track flipped music on its head forever? Or when this one shot the artist straight to the top? 70 years back, while the world was still picking up the pieces after the war, tunes dropped that still hit like a freight train today. We're talking songs that didn't just stamp an era, they carry secrets of love, loss, and dreams that once belonged to all of us. Today I'm taking you back to those chords, those whispers from the past, even if just for a minute, hang till the end. 14, Love Me Tender by Elvis Presley.
Love me tender.
Smack in the middle of a wild shifting decade, this melody taught us a whole new way to look at love. It was 1956. The world was still shaking off the war's echo. Kids dreamed of brighter tomorrows. And then this guy, with the perfect pompadour and soft eyes, showed up. Elvis Presley.
Tell me you are mine.
When Elvis crooned Love Me Tender, radios went dead quiet. No need for screaming guitars or thundering drums, just his voice, that shy, tender mix that made you think of the first time you held somebody's hand. Guys dedicated it without saying a word, spinning it on the car radio during a date or a lazy Sunday drive. The song spoke for us. Elvis wasn't just the king of rock. In Love Me Tender, he showed another side, the kid who could be fragile too. Maybe that's why it hit us so hard. Before we keep rolling, we want to know you better where you watching from? Drop it in the comments. Let's go. 13, Only You and You Alone by the Platters.
Only you.
If any group nailed the sound of pure love back then, it was the Platters. And Only You and You Alone was the prime example of how they could melt hearts. It dropped mid-50s and fast became the anthem for couples writing perfumed letters and waiting days for a reply. Tony Williams' voice floated like velvet over the airwaves, drifting on a backdrop that felt heaven-sent. And every time we heard it, we thought of somebody. Maybe the girl from high school, the first girlfriend, or that love that slipped away without warning. It was a time when love moved slow, and every word carried weight. No instant texts, no social media. You had to look somebody in the eye and speak from the gut. Only You was the perfect soundtrack for those moments that turned into memories we still treasure. Hit that like if you think old songs beat the new ones, hands down. Tutti Frutti by Little Richard. If the last two tracks were about tenderness, this one's pure chaos. While couples slow danced, Little Richard crashed the party like a tornado with Tutti Frutti in 1955, rewriting the rules.
Go.
That wild voice, that frantic piano, that uncontainable energy had us moving like never before. It was freedom poured into sound. In a still stuffy world, Little Richard dared to be different. His look, his clothes, the way he screamed every word, it all smashed the mold. And even though Tutti Frutti wasn't a ballad, folks remember it as the anthem of their youth because behind the madness was something deeper, the urge to live fearless. Little Richard kicked the door open for a new wave of artists and proved great music can come in a shout or just the joy of shaking to the beat. 11. Put Your Head on My Shoulder by Paul Anka.
Put your head on my shoulder.
If any song ever captured the innocence of first love, it's Put Your Head on My Shoulder, 1959. And Paul Anka at just 18 was already the voice of a whole generation.
Hold me in your arms, baby.
With just those soft words, you could picture the whole scene. A quiet night, a half-empty dance floor, that feeling of wanting the moment to last forever. No pretense, just a boy, a girl, and a promise of sweetness. Paul wrote it thinking about the teenage love he was living, that mix of nerves and butterflies when somebody catches your eye. Somehow we all saw ourselves in it. Put Your Head on My Shoulder was the soundtrack for learning love without a playbook, just heart and a little luck. Years later, we can still spin it and remember those first stomach flips. And even though times marched on, the lyrics hit the same. Sweet, real, timeless. Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. Hard as it is to believe now, anybody who lived through it knows Chuck Berry is one of the biggest names in music history, inspiring giants like Elvis and the Beatles. Johnny Be Good is the ultimate proof of his genius. Dropped in 1958, it was way more than a hit, it was a revolution.
Deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back up in the woods among the...
Chuck told the story of a poor kid dreaming of guitar glory, practicing day and night, hoping one day his name would light up marquees everywhere. It mirrored the dreams of so many kids back then, and in a way, Chuck himself. That riff taught us you didn't need much to shine, just passion, hustle, and a spark of hope.
But he could play a guitar just like a ringing a bell. Go, go!
Berry's guitar lit a fire in millions. Johnny Be Good became the dreamer's anthem. And even now when it plays, we remember the days when youth felt endless. 9. Peggy Sue by Buddy Holly.
Then you know why I feel blue without Peggy.
This is one of those tracks that feels alive on its own the second it kicks in. You're back in a simpler time when love fit in a glance and happiness lasted the length of a song. 1957, and among all the artists rewriting music, a skinny kid with thick glasses, shy grin, and massive talent stepped up. Buddy Holly.
Peggy Sue, Peggy Sue, oh how my...
His big hit, Peggy Sue, started as a sweet nod to a buddy's girl, but over the years it grew into way more. It was a burst of joy, youth, those days when anything felt possible. Buddy's voice with that signature nasal twang felt like home. No posing, no tricks, just a guy singing what he felt.
Peggy Sue, Peggy Sue,
And man, did he nail it. Peggy Sue shot to the top of the charts and carved itself into a whole generation's heart. What's your favorite 50s jam? Drop it in the comments so we can all give it a spin. 8. I Got a Woman by Ray Charles. If any track changed how we hear music, it's I Got a Woman by Ray Charles. It landed in 1954, when racial lines still ruled daily life in the States. But Ray's voice tore them down one by one. Ray Charles couldn't see, but nobody made you feel like he did. His piano had soul, his voice had fire, and the way he blended gospel with the everyday birthed something brand new. I Got a Woman was a love song, sure, but also a proud claim of identity, freedom, faith in your own path. In the verses, Ray sang about a woman who had his back, gave everything without asking for a thing. Simple story, but his delivery burned with real passion. When it hit the airwaves, jaws dropped. It didn't sound like anything else. Blues, gospel, rhythm, raw emotion. And without even trying, Ray Charles kicked off what we'd later call soul. Number 7, Blueberry Hill by Fats Domino. No doubt this melody drops us right back home, chilling on a quiet afternoon while we started figuring out love. Blueberry Hill by Fats Domino went beyond music to become like an old friend. Truth is, he wasn't a rebel like a lot of young artists then, more like a guy with an easy smile and a voice warm enough to wrap around everything And that was plenty to fall for. One listen and you got. He was talking about those spots where we stash our happiest memories. Fun fact, the song was actually written in the 40s, but Fats turned it eternal. His take had magic, heart, truth. That's Blueberry Hill for you. It hands your memories back without asking. And no matter how many years roll by, it still pulls the same smile and sigh. 6. Great Balls of Fire by Jerry Lee Lewis.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man.
If love can be sweet, Jerry Lee Lewis proved it can also be a wildfire. Great Balls of Fire was his gamble, a song that didn't ask permission. From the first piano smash, everything exploded. It was the sound of desire, overflowing passion, youth with no brakes. Jerry didn't play the piano, he attacked it, jumped on it, pounded keys with feet, elbows, whatever worked. That turned Great Balls of Fire into an instant phenomenon, but behind the frenzy, there's a wild story. Jerry came from a super religious family and wrestled for years with guilt over singing sinful stuff. But this time he said, screw it. And because of that, we've got one of the most intense tracks ever. 5. La Bamba by Richie Valens. Mind-blowing the first time you're spinning the dial and bam, a song in our language rubbing elbows with the big international voices of the 50s. La Bamba by Richie Valens hit in 1958 to prove rock and roll could have a Latin accent too. Way more than a hit, it was a badge of identity, unity, pride. Not many remember, but Richie was only 17 when he cut this masterpiece. Son of Mexican immigrants, raised in California, dreaming of taking his roots music to the masses. When he recorded La Bamba, he did it with contagious joy. It started as a traditional Veracruz tune, but he electrified it with guitars and youthful energy unlike anything else. The result was pure magic. Sadly, fate was cruel. Shortly after the breakout, Richie Valens died in the same plane crash that took Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper. He was just 17, but he'd already left a mark that won't fade. 4. I've Got You Under My Skin by Frank Sinatra.
Deep in the heart of me.
Bet you know that voice one that slid into millions of souls and never left. I've Got You Under My Skin by Frank Sinatra taught us how to love with class, maturity, and a dash of crazy.
Don't you know, you fool, no chance to win.
It was a golden age for music. Big bands packed dance halls, guys wore hats, ladies dressed sharp, and Sinatra put the swing in it all. This one told a story of love so deep, it felt permanent. Just drop the needle, ask your girl to dance, and let Sinatra say what you couldn't. I've got you under my skin. Cool part, Sinatra recorded it multiple times over his career, each version different, like time itself added new shades to love. That's something us older folks get. Love changes, but the feeling stays. Subscribe if you want us to dive into your favorite music decade. 3. Tennessee Waltz by Patti Page.
Tennessee Waltz.
Some songs tell a story like you're watching a movie. Tennessee Waltz by Patti Page is exactly that, a film of a love triangle playing through the speakers. It showed up in 1950, when radio ruled every living room.
I remember the night.
Families gathered around it every night, and when those opening notes hit, everything stopped. The tale Tennessee Waltz spun was simple but gut-punching. A woman dancing with her guy only to lose him to another in the same song. A betrayal told with the sweetest voice imaginable. That mix of tenderness and ache made it timeless.
have lost.
Patti Page's voice was pure calm. With barely a whisper, she made the story feel personal. Fun fact, she cut it without a full orchestra, using a brand new trick, recording her voice twice to harmonize with herself. The result was flawless, and the world fell hard. 2. Unforgettable by Nat King Cole. If one word sums up true love, it's unforgettable, and nobody sang it truer than Nat King Cole. 1951, Unforgettable started spinning on radios worldwide and instantly became an anthem for big-hearted lovers.
In every way.
Nat had a voice like no other, soft as a breeze, warm as a summer night, and he pulled it off so naturally few could touch it. Decades later, his daughter Natalie revived it, duetting with his original vocal, a tearjerker moment for the planet, an impossible reunion made real by music.
Harmonies.
So unforgettable.
Listening, you can't help thinking of loved ones gone but still with us. Unforgettable is more than a tune, it's a love letter, and that's why, all these years later, it still hits just as hard. 1. Jailhouse Rock by Elvis Presley.
Walking through a party in the county jail. The prison band was there and they began.
We're not overstating it, this track is one of the most important in music history. When Elvis dropped Jailhouse Rock in 1957, it didn't just play on every radio, it rewrote the game. Elvis had something words can't pin down, fire in his eyes, and a voice that said everything. In Jailhouse Rock, he mixed rebellion with charm and turned a song set in prison into a straight-up party. But under the beat and the moves, there was more. Elvis wasn't just youth, he was the freedom to feel. And for a lot of us, that was a revelation. Even though Jailhouse Rock played like a fun scene, it carried a message we got later. Music can set you free even in the darkest spots. The movie of the same name was a smash, theaters packed, Elvis's star exploding. Every song of his carried a spark of emotion, desire, endless youth that still burns bright no matter how time flies. And that wraps our trip. We'll leave another playlist of old gems right here if you want to keep chasing that vintage nostalgia. Catch you next time.